they liked our last recipe, so what are we having tonight?
So tonight we're making carnivore pizza. And a couple of things that, well, more than a couple of things that you're going to need. First of all, we're going to make the crust with ground chicken and grated Parmesan. And you want to get the freshly grated Parmesan or as much as possible. And then eggs. That will go into making the crust. So we're going to use about a pound of ground chicken. We're using 2 eggs.
2 eggs.
Half a cup of grated Parmesan. Now it calls for salt and garlic powder and then Italian seasoning. Jeremy doesn't really like anything that's got green bits in it, so
herby.
He likes his stuff spicy, so we use crushed red pepper flake instead. And you just kind of do this based off your own taste. He likes it really spicy, so we use a heavy bit of crushed red pepper flake. And again, you're seasoning it to taste.
What is that, garlic?
Garlic powder, and then salt. And then you just mix it up. Now you want to get parchment paper and line the bottom of your pan, and then pour the crust on top of it. I've pulled 2 pieces of parchment paper because now I'm going to use that to help flatten it out. So at this point, I'm just going to spread it real thin on my cookie sheet. And I'll just use the other piece of parchment paper I put on top just to kind of help smooth it out and even it out. I have a rolling pin that you can use if you wanted to use a rolling pin, but it's not necessary. Like I said, I like to get my fingers in there. Helps to get a good feel for it.
I'm trying not to say anything to that. Nice.
And now we're going to bake it on 400 degrees for about 25 minutes because we want the crust to get like a light golden brown.
And now we wait.
All right, so this has been in for 25 minutes on 400 degrees. And as you can see, it has made up a nice little crust. Now, what we noticed is that the underneath is a little more soft. So we want that to be a little more crusty. So what we decided to do, this was not in the original instructions, what we decided to do is to set up another pan and then take and flip this crust over onto another pan so that the other side can get crispy as well. Because we want it to be crispy before we add the toppings.
Now, see how much better that looks after it's been flipped. And it was in there about, what, 4 minutes?
Yeah.
On broil.
Okay, so when you're making the carnivore pizza, you can choose whatever type of toppings that you want. Cheeses, meats, and that sort of thing. Now, what we are doing is we are going to put a little bit of pizza sauce. Now, this pizza sauce is the Rao's, and it's only 3 grams of carbs per quarter of a cup. So what I'm actually going to do is we're going to do half a cup. I know this is not typically carnivore, but we've had this pizza before, and it would taste a little bit better with a little bit of sauce flavoring. So what we're going to do is going to be half a cup for the entire pizza. So it's only going to give us 6 grams of carbs for the entire pizza. So it's not going to be that detrimental to what we're trying to do here.
And it shouldn't kick us out of ketosis.
Correct. So we just want just half a cup, which is going to be just enough to spread a little bit of sauce to give us just a little bit of that saucy flavor. We are going with some pepperoni. Okay. And then we have decided to use some real bacon pieces. You can cook this up yourself and chop it, but I like to take the easy way. And we have browned up some ground beef. This is just 85-15 grass-fed beef. And then next will be your choice of cheeses. Now, I like to get the sliced fresh mozzarella. And it just comes out like this, and it's so good. It's so creamy. And then last but not least, the shaved Parmesan.
For your piece.
Yeah. All right. So now you're going to turn your temperature on your stove up to about 425 degrees. And we're going to pop it in for another 8 to 10 minutes. You just want the cheese to melt and to get all nice and bubbly. All right, y'all. And there it is. Now it's gonna be really hot, as you can imagine. Cheese coming out of the oven. There's a whole lot of cheese. It's gonna be hot, so be real careful. But zoom in on what this, ooh, told you it's really hot. On what this looks like. Delicious.
That is chicken, guys. Is that not crazy? It's so crazy.
So.
Nice. All right. Thank you, baby. This is going to be awesome.